The common poorwill, Phalanopterus nutlei, is a nocturnal bird of the family Cupromulgidae, the nightjars. It is found from British Columbia and southeastern Alberta, through the western United States to northern Mexico. The bird's habitat is dry, open areas with grasses or shrubs, and even stony desert slopes with very little vegetation. Many northern birds migrate to winter within the breeding range in central and western Mexico, though some remain further north. Remarkably, the common poorwill is the only bird known to go into torpor for extended periods, weeks to months. This happens on the southern edge of its range in the United States, where it spends much of the winter inactive, concealed in piles of rocks. Such an extended period of torpor is close to a state of hibernation, not known among other birds. Taxonomy: the genus name Phalanopterus is a compound of Greek phalana, moth, and tylon, feather. The species name nutlei honors English-born American ornithologist Thomas Nuttall. Description: this is the smallest North American nightjar, about 18 centimeters, 7.1 in length, with a wingspan of approximately 30 centimeters, 12 in. It weighs 36 to 58 grams, 1.3 to 2.0 ounces. The sexes are similar, both gray and black patterned above. The outer tail feathers are tipped with white, the markings slightly more prominent in the male. The common poorwill is told from similar nightjars by its small size, short bill, rounded wings with tips that reach the end of the short tail at rest, and pale gray coloration. 4. Like many other nightjars, the common name derives from its call, a monotonous poorwill given from dusk to dawn. At close range a third syllable of the call may be heard, resulting in a poorwill low. It also gives a chuck note in flight. Behavior: the common poorwill is the only bird known to go into torpor for extended periods, weeks to months. This happens on the southern edge of its range in the United States, where it spends much of the winter inactive, concealed in piles of rocks. This behavior has been reported in California and New Mexico. Such an extended period of torpor is close to a state of hibernation, not known among other birds. It was described definitively by Dr. Edmund Yeager in 1948 based on a poorwill he discovered hibernating in the Chukla Mountains of California in 1946. In 1804, Meriwether Lewis observed hibernating common poorwills in North Dakota during the Lewis and Clark expedition. Though these observations were recorded carefully in Lewis's journal, their significance was not understood. This was at least in part because the common poorwill was not then recognized as a species distinct from the whippoorwill of eastern North America. Native Americans of the Hopi tribe were likely aware of the poorwill's behavior even earlier. The Hopi name of this bird, Hulchko, means the sleeping one. Breeding is from March to August in the south of the range, and late May to September further north. The nest of the common poorwill is a shallow scrape on the ground, often at the base of a hill and frequently shaded partly by a bush or clump of grass. The clutch size is typically 2, and the eggs are white to creamy, or pale pink, sometimes with darker mottling. Both sexes incubate for 20 to 21 days to hatching, with another 20 to 23 days to fledging. There is usually one brood per year, but females may sometimes lay and incubate a second clutch within 100 meters of the first nest while the male feeds young at the first site. The young are semi-precocial. An adult disturbed on the nest tumbles and opens its mouth, hissing, apparently imitating a snake. Like other members of this family, it feeds on nocturnal insects such as moths, beetles, and grasshoppers. 6. It ejects pellets of the indigestible parts, in the manner of an owl. The common poorwill frequently takes prey off of the ground or by leaping into the air from the ground. It is reported to drink on the wing.